15 cities in Phoenix area declined. Welcome back everyone to my market update channel. Today we are going to have another deep dive into the Arizona housing real estate market, and we are going to look at some of the prices in different style of property. We are going to look at the comfort market index. We are also going to look at the June sales number because we're in July now, and we're gonna have the whole month summarized. This information is very important because that was actually the end of quarter 2. And we are also, if you're interested in investing and if you're also renting the house right now, we are going to look at the rental market as well. All right. With that, let's dive right into the information. Well, let's start with, here you go. Let's start with the prices in different market, okay? Let's look at the big pictures. We're looking at some of the luxury market, including like Scottsdale area. We see that those Scottsdale area is for high-end homes, right? And we have seen that for high-end homes, a 4.3% price increase year over year for single family house. Surprise, 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 right? Because a lot of people thinking that the home price is going down nowadays across the county, but in fact they do have an increase, and it's increased in the luxury market. Okay, the main reason is this. Okay, there's not a lot of homes available for sale for luxury market, and the demand of the people that who can afford to buy luxury homes still have a strong demand for Scottsdale area. And with the stock market is getting better and better, a lot of people be able to convert those assets to housing. Okay, and that's the reason why Scottsdale has a 4.3% years over year increase. Okay, on the flip side, however, Avondale, which is like a more affordable, more entry level, we see a 5.3% decrease. Even in Chandler area, which is one of the top cities before, right, holding steady, but it's only dip about 0.1%, very steady, right, showing that the mid-range market is balancing, not thriving. So some key takeaway is this, okay? If you're in a luxury sector, the demand is stronger. Okay, you have to compete, you have to go higher in price. If you have in the entry level, okay, the competition is very tight for the sellers. The buyer has a lot of negotiation room in the entry level market like Avondale market. For the mid-range Chandler, don't expect too much of a change. Okay, talking about Chandler, Gilbert, Peoria, those are the mid-range price, not too much of the price drop. Okay, it's still competition, but it's still a balanced market between the buyers and the seller. Okay, talking about the market, let's looking at some of the information about comfort market index. So if you follow my channel, you know that I've been watching the Comfort Market Index, which is created by the Comfort Associates. Basically, they base on a lot of algorithm to calculate a number for each city, each area, right? And if that number is more than 110, it's in the seller market. That area is in a seller market. 90 to 110 is the balanced market, and less than 90 is a buyer's market. Okay, let's look at the overall pictures here. Okay, well, last week we see the 2.7 decrease of the comfort market index. This week we only see a decrease of 1.7%. So that means the drop has been slowing down. It's no longer dropping as fast anymore. If you watched previous videos, you feel free to come back and check as well, right? It used to be negative 4.3, used to be negative 5.4. So it's negative. The fact that it's negative 1.7 is actually a very good indication that the drop has been slowed down a lot. Okay, have been slowed down a lot, and potentially, right, hopefully it's going to become zero, and it's going to become positive, because if that is the case, the market is coming back to be very strong as well. Okay, now a couple of cities that is important to highlight is Paradise Valley. Number one is Paradise Valley because there's an increase of 25%. Okay, now that's a very impressive change, given that the market right now is so slow, right? But remember, it's a small part of the overall market, so it doesn't change the needles too much for the overall market. Overall, we still see that a lot of cities decline. In fact, there's 15 city decline overall. Okay, the only two cities that is increased is Paradise Valley and Cape Creek. Uh, very small though. Cave Creek increased very small though, moving toward the buyer's market. Uh, from the buyer's market back to balance actually. So it's already exit the buyer's market. Okay. The other 15 cities, including Avondale Hills, show a very um, steep drop. As for example, Avondale is a negative 10%. Okay. The current market snapshot is two in the seller's market. One is very weak. One is very weak seller market. That means with any change, it's going to go back to the uh, balance market. Okay. Eight, talking about a balance market, 8 cities in the balance market and 7 in the buyer's market. Some key takeaways that why the market is still favorable to the buyers. Okay. It starts to easy up for the seller. Okay, especially in the mid and entry market. That means it's getting better. We see that it's getting better for the seller because of the change is no longer that hard, right? So the seller do need to have a right strategy and the right price at the beginning to make sure that it's attracting the potential buyers on the market. Okay, talking about this, attracting the buyers on the market, let's look at some June sales number breakdown. Okay, according to the Maricopa County June's data, there's a total of 6,621. Okay, that is actually a reduction from June last year. So that number one there, a total transaction. So there's less people willing to transact at the moment. Okay, new home sales is actually down. The transaction is down 13%. So no, a lot of people turn away from the new home. It's probably because of price, right? Because as you know, the new home sale is typically more expensive than the resale transaction. For example, you see here the new home sale, the median sale price is 528. The median sale price of resale home is only 460. This number right here, the new home, is even bigger than the overall. Okay, so normally if you go to with a brand new house, yes, it's new, it's fresh, it's less maintenance, it looks awesome, but it comes with a lot of cost up front already included in the price of the home, right? So on average, it could be $40,000 to $60,000 difference compare from the new home versus the resale home. Okay, all right. The resale transaction is talking about resale transaction in contradictory with the new home transaction sale, right? Negative 13%. The resale transaction is up 3.8%. So that's the reason why but we see that, well, this is exactly the reason, right? The resale home is only 460 on average. It's actually less than overall average, right? And the new home is way much more than the overall. So that's the reason why the resale transaction increased 3.8% compared to last year. Okay, so some key takeaway from this is the resale market is outperforming the new build. Okay, and the buyers may find a better value. So it's not always default to a new build. Yeah, if you ask my wife, I mean, she's still gonna need a new build house, right? But if you use logistic calculation, for example, if you buy a house so that you can rent out, so that you can make money from it, right? It's definitely a good idea to buy a resale instead of a brand new house, okay? Because even though you have a lot of potential for replacing something, all we need to do is to make sure during inspection we are comfortable with the condition of the home. Okay, so let's talk about the rental market, because I don't normally talk about the rental market, but in this episode I just want to point out that 19% of the rental listing increase year over year. There's a lot of people go to the rental, um, um, putting their house onto the market for rent, right? The total rental listing. The apartment is actually up 30%, and single family house is up actually 14%. So very close to the median price of all the property type. Okay. Some would be sellers, maybe the reason also, okay, because they cannot sell. For example, the house that has a fix and flip, or maybe a house that has been rented, they try to sell it, but they couldn't, right? They cannot sell it. Especially also condo and apartment, okay? Very difficult to sell, and that's exactly the reason why they put it back onto the market for rent. Because instead of giving up on the property, which has a lot of equity inside, they can just live there, right? And then you know live there, live in the rental property. Okay. Now, one thing I have to note is that the number of Phoenix apartments nowadays is up to 34%. Okay, it's everywhere is increased. Okay, across the valley. But the Phoenix is the worst. 34% number of apartments available for rent. Okay, a lot of competition. So that means the buyers and the seller and the investor, the real estate investor, you have to be careful in terms of putting the house on the market for rent. Okay, let's talk about some price, because I know that everyone's love talking about prices, right? There's 4 different type of price, and I know it's maybe confusing, but this is just basically based on the time of the property active listing. This is the ones that available for sale. The buyers can make an offer. In terms of dollar per square feet, we see that's a negative 2.4% year over year. Okay, the listing that is actually after a while they go under contract is actually less, down of 0.2%, but when they close, another drop of 1.7%. Okay, overall the median sale price is actually dropped from the previous quarter is 0.3%. Okay, to come up to 449,500. Historically, Q3 is the quickest, very weak quarter for the year. So they seem to be not changing so much. Okay, don't expect big price drop though. Don't expect it. But the trend is definitely soft. The seller need to be competitive, and the buyer may find more flexibility when they shop for houses. Okay, some final thought. As you know, the luxury market is already outperforming every other property types in Maricopa. The buyer power is increasing. Remember 15 cities that decline beside Paradise Valley and Cape Creek, right? Those are the luxury markets. Okay, new construction is slowing down and the rental are expanding. We're talking about big corporate. This is the time that they don't want to put a lot of money into the new luxury market, right? But they obviously want thinking about building a community that's for rent, okay? Because the renter, and it's going to be tough for the individual investor to be able to find a tenant, because there's way more options than the renter, okay? So if you're looking to make a move, now is the time. Strategy smartly, okay? Whether you are buying, selling, or investing. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.